So, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome you all to the 12th edition of the Bengal Chambers Business IT Conclave. It is our great pleasure and honor we have with us as our chief guest, Dr. Partho Chatterjee, Honorable Minister in charge, Department of Industry, Commerce and Enterprises, Information Technology and Electronics and Parliamentary Affairs of Government of West Bengal. We have Mr. Arnav Basu, Chairperson, IT Committee, the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Advisory Leader, PricewaterhouseCoopers, uh, and Mr. Sanjay Shen, Co-Chairperson, IT Committee, the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Senior Vice President, ITC Infotech India Limited, and Mr. Chiranjeev Bhattacharya, Co-Chairperson, IT Committee, the Bengal Chamber, and Chief Executive Officer and Director, Tech Informatics Private Limited. With this, I would request Mr. Arnav Basu to formally welcome the Minister and all to today's meeting.
Thank you, Angana, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this virtual event. This is the 12th edition of our Business IT Conclave, and I'm very thankful to Dr. Partho Chatterjee, Honorable Minister in charge, Department of Industry, Commerce and Enterprises, Information Technology and Electronics and Parliamentary Affairs, Government of West Bengal, for sparing his time and joining us for this. I'm sure all of you want to hear from him. This year, like every year, we were thinking of what kind of a topic would really be, interesting for all of you. And one of the things, as we are coming out of the COVID crisis, and I'm hopeful that we will not have a third wave, and we are coming out of the worst of COVID. The thought process uppermost in our mind was, how do we rebuild the nation, and what role does technology play in rebuilding the nation? So that's our theme for the next few hours as we talk about it today, and then again once next week. So I think one of the things which I would say has, the pandemic has really taught us is that if there's one thing that is certain in business, it is uncertainty, as Stephen Covey had said. And the pandemic has led to, I would say, two major shifts. One is the acceleration in the pace of digital transformation, and we will deliberate a bit on that and what's happening on the digital transformation front with organizations. And the other one is the hybrid work model. And I'll probably just, talk 30 seconds on both. I think digital transformation or digitization is now very clearly a CEO agenda. It is expanding on digital investments. It is looking at the core business model of the organization, the kind of technology disruptions which is happening. How do organizations become future ready? Organizations have started rethinking about their models, rethinking about their ways to reach customers. They're looking at how do you build a culture in a virtual environment. So as they're thinking of all these, what we've also seen is that many new segments have emerged and gained strength in the past 1.5 years. And while there were a fair amount of startups which were working around health tech or fintech, but we have seen a lot more coming up in the space of edutech, in the area of retail tech, how we are looking at Industry 4.0, how do we look at government digitization plans. And the Department of IT and Electronics in West Bengal has obviously been very focused, whether it's around the promotion of emerging technologies, whether it is around developing and creating a strong startup ecosystem, or even in their own digitization journey. And the Chamber has been quite privileged to be part of some of these initiatives. And over the last 1 year, the other thing which we have seen is how the hybrid work model is, come in, and it's here to stay for definitely, some more time. I personally don't know, but my personal opinion is that we'll never go back to the way we used to work before. It would probably continue as a hybrid. Now, within the hybrid, how much of it would be in person, in office, and how much of it would be, remotely working from home, is anybody's guess. So with these thoughts, one of the things which we felt was that we needed to hear from experts around the how do you drive value in a digital transformation, and we'll have several sessions around that. I think the need of the hour is to get towards outcomes, sustained outcomes through the digital transformation. And the other very big thing which has come in is, as we've all moved into a distributed work environment, the overall need for trust, whether you're trusting your employees or trusting your stakeholders to do what they're supposed to do, to the extent of trusting your data strategy, trusting your cyber readiness, trusting your overall data privacy policies. I think the entire world is sort of, I would say, having these two major thrust areas. One is trust, and the other is sustained outcomes. So we will hear from the speakers on both. As I said, that along with the digital transformation, we felt that we have to look at nation building with technology, whether it is around how it's affecting the economy, whether it is around access to social capital. We'll have some leading industry experts talk about that. We would have a lot of discussions around workspace dynamics. How do you drive culture? How do you drive trainings? How do you drive overall team building in a virtual environment? So we'll hear all of those as well. Uh, so without much further ado, I would probably request uh, the Honorable Minister for his comments on the topic. And we do want to have some time for all of you to send some questions. We know this is a virtual platform, and hence we will be a bit patient at the end to get your questions and get Dr. Chatterjee's views on the questions as well. Dr. Chatterjee, welcome once again. Our privilege to have you here. And over to you, sir.
First of all, I'm grateful to you and the chamber for inviting me to a great program. You are talking about the rebuilding of nation with technology. Technology is a very important today. We do not, at one point of time, we have no idea about the digitization and how it works. We have no practice to work from home. All these happened during the last 2 years. Keeping in mind, I welcome the distinguished members of Bengal Chamber. You, Mr. Basu, Chairman, IT Committee and Managing Partner of PwC. Mr. Sanjay Sen, Co-Chairperson. Mr. Chiranjeev Bhattacharya, Co-Chairperson and CEO. My colleague, Rajiv Kumar, Principal Secretary, IT and Electronics, and industry friends, and other dignitaries present in this online seminar. I'm delighted to be here with you today and greet you all on my personal behalf as well as on behalf of our Honorable Chief Minister, Mamata Banerjee. West Bengal is India's sixth largest state economy and is strategically located to serve as the gateway to East and Northeast India, South and Southeast Asia. Bengal's GDP has risen by almost 3 times over the past decades, while the state has ramped up with annual expenditure in its social sector by 10 times. And expenditure in physical infrastructure has increased by 6 times during the same period. The IT-ITES sector of the state has emerged as one of the prime drivers of the economy of the state, with close to 10% contribution to the state GDP, employing close to 2 lakhs professionals. The state has more than 200 engineering and management colleges, with over 40,000 engineering seats, providing a strong pipeline of skilled professionals. We have substantial presence of global software majors like IBM, TCS, Cognizant, Accenture, Tech Mahindra, ITC Infotech, Capgemini, PwC, Ericsson, BITC Telecom, HSBC Electronic Data Processing, Wipro, etc. Infosys has also started building the infrastructure in Newtown and expected to start their operation in a year. During the last decade, the state government, under the visionary leadership of Mamata Banerjee, invested heavily in the social sector, achieved many milestones, and earned national and global recognition. Our key focus now, after returning to the power with blessings of a huge public mandate, is on industry and its growth. In the last few months, we are taking a series of policy initiatives targeted to various sectors. We had some meaningful interaction with IT investors last month at a small gathering in our secretariat. As per State Budget 21-22, the government has allocated 183.51 crore for development of IT and electronics in West Bengal. Over the last decade, the state government has focused in building the ecosystem and IT infrastructure in 18 IT parks already in operation spread over places like Kolani, Asansol, Durgapur, Shiliguri, Malda, in spite of prevailing pandemic situation. 71% occupancy has been ensured. Another 4 IT parks in Sector 5, Rajarhat and Kolani are ready and will be commercially operational very soon, as Z8 modules have been allotted recently. Another 5 IT parks are proposed at Sector 5, Durgapur, Belur, Darjeeling and Kalimpong. Electronic hardware parks have been developed at Sonarpur and Kalani, both at the outskirts of the KMD area. The electronic manufacturing charters have been construed in Noihati, 70 acres, and Falta, 60 acres. The state government has extended all support, including land, for establishment of internet landing station by Reliance Jio, which will be a major boosting for high-speed internet availability in West Bengal. Technology is one of the key focus areas of ours. Our Honorable Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's vision is not only to make West Bengal the information technology hub of India, but a renowned IT destination of the world. Her policy focuses mainly on big data analysis and animation and gaming, cyber securities, drones, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, to name a few. She has promoted the Bengal Silicon Valley in Newtown, a modern smart city with all amenities and entertainment facilities just beside the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose International Airport. The locational advantage of Bengal Silicon Valley is perhaps the best in the country. Another 100 acres of land has been marked for extending the existing Silicon Valley in phase 2. This will be a futuristic hub that will catalyze the IT ecosystem in the state and will act as a beacon for the IT industry. The Newtown Salt Lake Sector 5 twin towns together boost the ecosystem, which is conducive to growth of ITES enterprises. The work from home model has enabled thousands of skilled and talented resources in the IT services industry to return to West Bengal and continue working from here. To retain this talent pool, it is important to create opportunities for them locally. Globally leading organizations are invited to have product development centers or delivery centers in Bengal. This would boost the opportunities for the local talent pool. The transition to cloud in the new normal is moving at a faster pace. This has already led to the need to data centers in India. The state has notified West Bengal data center policy last week. The purpose of this policy to develop Bengal as the hub of data handling and storage. Data centers should be assisted with easy approvals, self-certification, allowing optimal use of land as well as infrastructures like optical fiber connectivity, quality power and water supply from our government. We will also provide some fiscal benefits of 100% exemption of stamp duty and registration fee for any transaction related to setting up data center for 5 years from the date of start of commercial operations. The proposals initiated included those by Reliance Group, Hirnandani Group, and CTRLs Limited. A section of IT sector is focused on valuations rather than revenue. The emergence of so many unicorns in India over the last 12 months supports this interest. Bengal needs to become a hub for such emergence of unicorns, and that will create a thriving ecosystem. The state is actively considering a policy to encourage innovation, new initiatives in ITES. The center of gravity of IT is shifting eastwards, and Kolkata can be the epicenter. Kolkata, with its strategic location, plug and play infrastructure, diverse talent pool, optimized costs, and good social infrastructure, is ideally placed for investment. I wish all the participants a great success and look forward to some great initiatives emerging from this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chatterjee. And many of those are really very good news for many of us, especially from the sector. And as you rightly said, that many of the organizations are adding on headcount in Kolkata, in West Bengal, especially on the delivery center side. We do hope that more product development initiatives would also come in. With that, maybe Mr. Sen, if I can ask you to, go into the questions for Dr. Chatterjee, which we would have received.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, a question on education. During your time in education, sir, if you see the suburb students have flourished. Now, with this digital divide, many of the people which are not so can't afford smartphones and others, they might get impacted, sir. So we need to carry both infrastructure, connectivity, and also make available low-cost devices for them, sir, so that we don't have this divide. And so there's also a prediction that slowly all textbook will become digital. So it is also an opportunity for us. We can also invite hardware vendors to come and set up shop and have incentivize them so that we can create these types of smartphones, tabs for these people. And also we need to provide proper internet connectivity to some remote corners of West Bengal so that our kids there can really flourish, sir.
First of all, I'm thankful to you for raising this point. It was raised by me many times during my ministership as Education Minister.
Yes, sir.
I'm thankful to Honorable Chief Minister that she has responded very positively, providing tabs to the students, providing smartphones to the students, allowing or creating centers so that those who are not having internet connectivity, they can go and visit and take the advantage through the smartphone and tab which was provided for them. Recently, we have introduced the student credit loan to the tune of 10 lakhs. So, and we are pushing it, our department heavily for reaching the remote areas with connectivity so that the problem which you are talking about will be addressed.
Thank you, sir.
Another point I would like to mention that yesterday Madam has agreed to consider that in Silicon Valley, the electronic manufacturing units in Bengal, Silicon Valley, they may be considered for their positions in Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Mr. Bhattacharya, would you ask your question, please?
Thank you, Arnab. Good afternoon, sir. Sir, as you rightly said, that this work from home culture enabled thousands of skilled, talented people in the IT services industry to return to West Bengal and continue working from here. Sir, to retain this talent pool, we think it's important to create more and more opportunities for them locally. Now, over and above whatever we have here, there are globally leading organizations like Amazon, Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, etc., who do not have product development centers or delivery centers in West Bengal, sir. Our request is, can we take up an initiative, a planned initiative, to try and get some of them here, sir? In fact, on behalf of the government, if you want, we can set up a core team, which, if you kindly enable and empower us, we can also take up this initiative. But we think that if we need to reach out to them, sir, to get them here more and more, to create more and more opportunities for our boys and girls here.
Now, I have started talking to some of the organizations which you have mentioned. And I'm hopeful that the approach of our government under the leadership of Mamata Banerjee will certainly, they will respond. And it is a good idea to have a core committee who can go and convince and talk to them with our talent pool, with our facilities, with the infrastructure facilities. So it is a good idea. I will certainly talk to the principal secretary of our department to think and, if possible, talk to the concerned persons who will be able to be a flag torchbearer, the torchbearer of West Bengal to reach them. We have already touched one or two organizations which you have mentioned right now. Let's see. Let's hope for the best.
Thank you so much, sir.
So one of the questions, Dr. Chatterjee, which has come from Mr. Kaushik Pradhan of Aishamoy, is the state government working on any specific policy to make Bengal a hub for unicorns? You mentioned about the number of unicorns which have emerged this year. Any specific thoughts about them? Any policies?
It is better not to speak about the policies in open forum. We have to deal when it comes to us, or when we'll visit the exact position of the unicorns which they are talking about. We have already have policies of data center policy already we have done. We are examining the startup policy also. So number of policies are on the place. If required, we will certainly think about that.
One of the other questions which has come in, Dr. Chatterjee, is that does the state government have any plan to reserve some work or some projects, maybe small projects in the government for some of these startups in order to encourage them? Because normally you have the big players always picking up the government jobs, and it's easier for them to qualify as well.
As I said, our department is examining those issues, and we will place before the Honorable Chief Minister for our intervention and approval.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Shen, you have another question, I guess.
Sir, we have some of the best academic institutes of the, if I may say, of the world: IIT Kharagpur, IIM Calcutta, ISI. How can we use their professors, their alumni, to uplift our own Bengal's image and also to attract more and more industries here, sir?
No, during my first phase as a Minister of IT, I have used a lot of professionals, academicians to improve the situation. We'll try once again. We'll certainly take the views, take the expertise of the institute's professors or associates who are associated with them. And we enrich our department, and through our enrichment, the people of West Bengal, especially the local talents, will be benefited.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Chatterjee, one of the questions which has come is, you obviously talked about all the good things which has happened in West Bengal. In your mind, which is the one big challenge that we have to overcome, to make the dream of West Bengal in the area of, technology and business reality. Your thoughts on that.
First of all, my first objective is to bring back talents from outside who have left, who have gone to other states,
Citizen, yeah, okay.
including outside India, to bring back their talents and assure them that the kind of facilities, the kind of infrastructure, the kind of work environment, they will all get. The rest of their perks will depend upon the individual organizations who can attract. The first thing to bring back them.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bhattacharya, you had another question.
Thank you, Arnav. Sir, keeping in mind this new normal, rapid skill building has become critical for students who are tomorrow's industry professionals. Now, to build competency around remote working, a lot of skills need to be imbibed quite early. As you correctly mentioned, sir, that there are a number of engineering and management institutes. We are sure some of them are running some initiatives like this, but on emerging technologies, remote working skills, can we have a structured program driven by the government, sir, for the student community here, so that we can build tomorrow's technology leaders who would stay here and build the state?
This is being taken up by our technical education department. They are looking after the skill development under the leadership of Mamata Banerjee and our secretaries of different departments. We have given more thrust on capacity building and skill building based on the requirement of the industry to come. We wanted to know what kind of skill you required, first of all. And then we create a pool of talents. From there, we can always shift the requirement or fulfill the requirement of the industry.
Absolutely, sir. From the chamber, if you kindly allow, then we can also send sir, a list of certain skills would be critical for
You are
tomorrow.
most welcome. You send it to list to me or and one copy to IT principal secretary. You'll be in a better position to handle those things.
Thank you so much, sir.
So thank you, Dr. Chatterjee, for the candid answers. We obviously would do our bit from the Bengal Chamber. As we have discussed before with you also, we are going to try and encourage as many business organizations who are our members to continue to invest in West Bengal. You've obviously touched upon the point that how do we get talent back into West Bengal because of the work from anywhere model. And we are very hopeful that with the focus on the other cities, not just Kolkata, but also the other cities around Durgapur, around Shiliguri, because not everybody is from Kolkata, right? And Kolkata obviously cannot take all the load. But we are very, very keen that we help on that, and we, manage to get the talent back, which has been, brain drain has been a term associated with Bengal for many years, and I think this is an opportunity for us to get them back. The other thing which we are also doing is we are working very closely with the startup ecosystem. You are aware of what we are trying to do with Webel, and we'll continue that journey as well, because many of these startups are dabbling in many new areas, new technology, new ways of approaching the same problem. And I think that's something which is coming in as well. I'm sure there have been some questions which have come in around, policies or earmarking areas for electronics manufacturing, which I'm sure your good office would do if we have some, specific, proposals for the government. And I think overall, we are very hopeful that post-pandemic, West Bengal will see a revival on the technology front. With that, Dr. Chatterjee, again, thanks for your time.
I have one point to make, please.
Yes, please.
If you have any suggestions, you give us to us. I will forward it to the Honorable Chief Minister for intervention. So
We will do that.
Don't hesitate to forward whatever your suggestions in a piece of paper, forward it to us. We will forward it to the Chief Minister.
Absolutely. We will do that. We will do that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody, for
Thank
joining
you,
us
sir.
today. As we move on to the next session, let's see what our partners say.
As India emerges from the enduring impacts of the pandemic, organizations need to change faster than ever before to address the profound challenges that they face and also make most of the tremendous opportunities that lie ahead of them.
PwC as a community of solvers is uniquely positioned to bring the right combination of people, capabilities, and technology. That's what we are calling the new equation.
The new equation focuses on two interconnected needs that clients face today. The need to build trust with a broader set of stakeholders and also to deliver sustained outcomes.
To enable our clients to meet these challenges over the next 5 years, we will double down on our investments in some of the key growth areas.
Our people are at the core of our success. We will continue to spend a minimum of 1% of our revenue in upskilling our people and our partners. At the same time, we also have tremendous focus on onboarding fresh talent. We will be increasing our campus hiring by 5 times in the next 5 years. We also expect to add over 2,000 jobs every year. And most importantly, we commit to ensuring a minimum of 40% diversity across our teams.
We are going to set up the PwC Research Institute, which will identify and analyze the emerging trends across sectors. We will further invest in emerging technologies, digital and cloud, artificial intelligence and analytics, cyber and managed services, and work closely with our ecosystems and alliances to offer value-added as well as differentiated services to all our clients.
I'm excited about the difference we will make to businesses around the world and in India. It all adds up to the new equation.